It's time for the 1430 Connection on 1430 WNAV and 99.9 FM, spotlighting news, newsmakers, and important community issues. Now, with this week's edition of the 1430 Connection, here is WNAV news anchor Donna Cole.
Welcome to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. In the studio with me today is Alison Woodfield. She's the park superintendent of Quiet Waters Park right here in Annapolis, and it is celebrating its
30th year.
Andy Loftus is the vice president of the Friends of Quiet Waters group, and thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
So let's talk about 30 years of Quiet Waters. Actually, I'm going to start off with a quote from a Washington Post article. This is from September 2000. People weren't always so positive about the park. When Mary Parker decided to sell a 336-acre chunk of her land in the late 1980s, residents successfully fought to have the county rather than a private developer buy the property. But when then County Executive James Lighthouser made plans to develop a park that included an amphitheater, homeowners in Hillsmere Shores were outraged and sought to halt what they feared would damage the environment, increase traffic, and generate noise near their neighborhood. Quiet Waters finally opened Sands Amphitheater on Labor Day weekend in 1990 at a cost of $18 million, making it the most expensive park in county history, but it has also become its most popular with an estimated 4.5 million visits since its opening. Allison, I'm going to guess those visits have gone up.
Yes.
How many visits do you have now?
So we're looking at over 500,000 a year. Now. We had over 600,000 last year.
And obviously that amphitheater opened, as did an ice rink, a very popular ice rink during the winters, as did a dog park and a dog beach. There is always a constant array of things to do and activities and festivals and wildlife watching at the park, yes?
Yep.
Ice rink has had problems over the years. It was redone.
We're operating normally. The Friends of Quiet Waters Park actually kind of got on board with this because the ice rink had been closed and did some huge fundraising efforts to get it reopened again. So this last season, we just closed March 1st. We had our biggest revenue season at the ice rink and the most visitation in the last 5 years.
That's awesome.
So despite the warm weather, the staff tried really hard to keep it open. They did a great job, and we had a really successful season.
Stepping back for a minute, full disclosure, before I was a journalist, I had visited Dog Beach in Florida, in Key West, came back to Annapolis and said we need a dog beach here. I joined forces with a group that wanted to have a dog park, and that we lobbied successfully. Then Janet Owens was the county executive, so I did have a little part to play in that. We're going to talk about the history of Quiet Waters. How did it get its name?
So Quiet Waters was the original name of the farm. So it was Quiet Waters Farm. The adjacent land to the park that we just acquired was Quiet Waters Retreat, and that's where the family lived, where the big house was. And then there were caretakers that lived in a farmhouse at Quiet Waters Farm. So that's where the name came from. It was a working farm. There were, where the formal gardens are in the park currently, there were stables with horses. There was produce grown. I mean, it was a complete working farm. The South River Overlook on the South River, which is one of our most popular spots, was known as Thunder and Lightning Point. We were able to meet with the caretaker's family, a couple generations of that family, to get stories about the farm recently, just to prepare for our 30th anniversary.
And so this big chunk of property that the county just acquired last year came in part because of county funds. Chesapeake Conservancy played a part. The Navy played a part. How did the Navy get involved?
Because it's a recreation area for everyone. So these are groups that are interested in providing recreational opportunities in the outdoors for their folks.
And so this now acquired 1,770 feet of shoreline, yes? How many acres?
It's 19 acres.
And this makes the park a total of how many acres?
So we're sitting at 340 without the new property.
It's nice.
That gives us another little chunk.
Yeah, it is a nice chunk, and it's beautiful. So these houses and outhouses and whatever. There are these structures that go back many, many years.
Yeah,
they
I
will
think
be
the main house is 1930s.
And they'll be coming down, and Chesapeake Conservancy is moving in, yes?
Chesapeake Conservancy is in a study period with a contractor to assess the buildings. But yes, that is going to be Chesapeake Conservancy's hub where they run their operation.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back on the 1430 Connection. Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. In the studio with me is Alison Woodfield. She's the park superintendent of Quiet Waters Park right here in Annapolis. It's celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. And Andy Loftus, VP of Friends of Quiet Waters Park. What does the Friends of Quiet Waters Park do, Andy?
So the Friends actually predates the park in many respects. It was formed at the outset when the park was first known as Annapolis Neck Park in terms of looking at it. And the Friends were kind of formed around providing input into the development of the park. And so when it was formally started in 1990, 30 years ago, the Friends became a formal organization, a nonprofit organization, to add value to what's all the great assets that are already in the park. So the Friends, we support a number of activities. We support the summer concert series that people enjoy. As Alison mentioned earlier, the Friends were very instrumental in getting the ice rink reopened. I just delivered, I think 100 pounds of bird seed that we bought to feed the
That's
birds.
awesome.
And we support, I think one of the unique things about the park is the art galleries. There's no other county park or even state park that I know of that has an art gallery professionally run, and that's run by the Friends of Quiet Waters Park.
And this is in the main building and the Blue Heron Center also, right?
This is primarily in the Visitor Center.
Okay.
We have about 6 to 8 shows a year, and then we have 2 special events, one being the Fall Arts Festival, Arts and Crafts Festival. That's a 2-day event. People can come and buy arts and crafts and things like that. And then generally we also have an event around Christmas time going into January where people can buy specific artisan pieces, woodworking and things like that. A lot of great gifts, Christmas gifts and things like that. So those shows are also open to the public, and you can generally buy the artwork that's on the walls. Although, if it's a show, you have to wait until the show ends before you can take it.
Yeah.
But it is professionally run. It's professionally juried by Annapolis has a great wealth of artists around here.
We do.
So it's just incredible. I wasn't aware of this until I joined the Friends, how well it was run and how professionally it was run from the art standpoint. So,
And if people want to donate, how do they do that?
We always are looking for new members or donations, and we do have a Facebook page. You can look us up. There is a Quiet Waters Park in Florida, so make sure you got the one in Annapolis. And we also do have a website. It's friendsofquietwaterspark.org or fqwp.org if you want to shorten that up and whatnot. And you can make donations or you can join through there.
All right. Allison, who lives at the park?
One of my park rangers.
It's kind of cool, right? People don't always know that our county parks have homes on them, and sometimes they're for the ranger, sometimes the superintendent will live in them.
Yep. Yeah, it's nice to have that added security and having someone living in the park. And honestly, I mean, I'm a mother of children, so my kids grew up being park ranger children. So anyone that's a park ranger and has kids, your kids are going to be park ranger kids.
Aw.
So just imagine growing up in a park.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Nature. What's the coolest thing you've seen yet? And by the way, how long have you been at Quiet Waters?
So I just celebrated my first anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you came from the state park, Sandy
did.
Point, and some others. The coolest thing you've seen yet at Quiet Waters as far as outside of people?
I think the biggest thing for me about Quiet Waters is the diversity in activities. I'm used to working in parks that are 3 or 4 month parks, so they have that really busy, crazy season, and then it's kind of quiet the rest of the year. Quiet Waters offers 12 months of the year of activities. So that's really unique to me, and I love that we can offer that to people that live in the area. The other thing I love about Quiet Waters is that I can go on a trail back in the woods somewhere far away from the visitor center or the entrance or Forest Drive, and I can't hear a single sound.
It's kind of special.
It's kind of special in Annapolis that you can find a place to get away that you can't hear any traffic at all.
You know what's amazing to me reading this paragraph from the Washington Post about how homeowners in Hillsmere Shores were outraged and sought to halt what they feared would damage the environment, increase traffic, and generate noise near their environment. This happens every time there's a new park opening, or that there's a possibility of expansion. For instance, Beverly Triton. We've seen the neighbors in Maya. And because we have so many peninsulas. Quiet Waters is a peninsula. Annapolis Neck is a peninsula. Beverly Triton. So it's understandable people are concerned. But Hillsmere, the people from Hillsmere, do they get in for free?
A lot of the folks in Hillsmere can walk into the park, accessing the trails, so they don't pay the front fee to drive in the park.
Right. And speaking also of which, people should know, there's some other people that get discounts for parks, county parks.
Right.
Veterans, active duty military.
So those are all free entry just by showing the ID. We do also offer a lifetime pass for folks that are 60 and older. It's our lifetime senior pass, and it's $40 one-time fee, and then you can use it the rest of your life at any regional park in Anne Arundel County. So it's not just for Quiet Waters. And then we also sell a $30 annual pass for county residents, and that's, again, for every regional park in the county. 40 for out of county.
It's a big deal. It really helps. As a veteran, I can tell you it helps me. So I'm appreciative for the county for doing that. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the events coming up at Quiet Waters. We'll be right back on the 1430 Connection. Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. In the studio with me is Alison Woodfield, Park Superintendent of Quiet Waters Park, and Andy Loftus, VP of the Friends of Quiet Waters. And we know that Quiet Waters has 12 months of programming. There's an ice skating rink. There's multiple pavilions. There are weddings. There are corporate retreats. There are birthday parties. My own kid has had a birthday party at the Quiet Waters ice rink. So there's never a shortage of things to do. And then there's, of course, great nature watching. Because Quiet Waters is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, and because it opened on Labor Day, let's talk about that. What are we having to celebrate that?
So we decided to kind of do a year of celebration for Quiet Waters because it's a big deal, the 30th. So we kicked it off on the first day of the year with a first day hike. We had over 250 people attend the hike with us, which was great. So everybody is excited that we're turning 30. Our rangers have planned some events in the park, like scavenger hunts and special hikes during the year to commemorate the 30th. We have a history hike coming up on the 28th of March, where one of our rangers will take folks through the park and talk about Quiet Waters when it was a farm. So things like that through the year. And then Labor Day weekend, we kind of kick off. That's when the original opening was. So the Thursday before Labor Day, we're going to have a reception for the 30th anniversary. And then followed by, on Saturday, a fun field day for kids with field games. And then on Sunday will be our Annapolis Symphony Orchestra. They will perform their concert, which is free, and they do it every year. But interestingly, they were also there on the opening weekend of the park 30 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome. Cake, of course, part of the reception.
Of course.
Yeah, what's the cake going to look like?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. You must have some idea. You must have thought
Maybe
about it.
it'll be a blue heron.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's kind of our bird.
All right, Andy, what else is coming up that you want to discuss?
Well, currently we have in the art gallery, we do have a great exhibit by a couple of local photographers, and that
Anne?
Anne Weathersby is
yes,
one of
I
them,
know Anne well.
and Chris Edwards is the other one.
All right.
And the sales of their pieces are going very well, so people obviously enjoy their works. And so we have a number of other art exhibits coming up. I think 6 other ones this year that you can go and it's open for free. And during receptions for the art exhibits, the entrance to the park is free, as is entrance to the summer concerts. People sometimes don't know that, but just before the concerts start, maybe 30 minutes or an hour, the entrance fees are waived for the park, so the concerts are completely free. And that's one of the unique things about the park is there are so many ways that people can access it, even if they don't have the funds or the money to pay the entrance fee, and it's fantastic. So we do have actually coming up on April 25th the Earth Day celebration, and as part of that, the Friends of Quiet Waters Park sponsors a 5K. So for the runners out there, register for the 5K, and the proceeds from that go to the planned nature center that we're hoping to build in the upper part of the visitor center.
Yeah, I've been hearing about this for quite a few years. When is this going to be done?
Well, as soon as we get the money.
Okay.
And that's always a challenge, is raising the money for the nature center. And so we do have a number of fundraisers. And also the county donates the proceeds from the Twist and Stout event in the fall to the nature center. So
that's
we're
good.
slowly building up.
Okay.
And hopefully fairly soon we can start building some components to that nature center. But even though we don't have a formal nature center, we do actually support a number of the nature programs at the park. The Friends does. And I forgot how many animals you have in the building right now.
So we're up to 6 or 7.
All right. What animals do you have in there?
So we have a garter snake that was taken care of by a rehabilitator and then couldn't be released into the wild. So I was asked to take her on, and her name is Ellie. She's pretty great. We also,
And by the way, for people that don't know, it is hard to sext a snake.
It is.
That's a fact.
It is. We also have a box turtle. He actually came from the park, and I'm not sure how he got his injury, but he has pretty bad damage to one of his feet and the back of his shell. So it could have been a mower. We're not sure. So he's in our care. So we use those as our animal advocates and use them for programming with children. And so it's worked out really well. We also have horseshoe crabs that have been there for a long time.
Speaking of animals and animal accidents, this is quite often people drive in parks, and all too often, unfortunately, drive too fast in parks. I've known of 2 orphan deer at Quiet Waters, one of those orphans did die also after being hit by cars. Can you speak about keeping the park critters safe?
Well, our speed limit in the park is 20. But I will agree with you that people do drive a little fast when they get on that loop and no one's looking. Can go a little faster. We do have signs up warning people of wildlife crossing, and the rangers do a really good job of patrolling to make sure that people do slow down.
Good.
Yeah, we do see a lot of speeding. We've talked about speed bumps or speed humps, so that may be coming.
That would be nice to see, as a person that loves wild animals. All right. Coolest animal you've seen yet in the wild at Quiet Waters, Alison?
The coolest animal I've seen.
Or most unexpected. You've seen a lot of bald eagles, and we've talked about
everything.
And you do have a fair amount of blue heron.
We do have, we do. I don't know. That's a tough question for me.
So I can answer.
Andy, go ahead.
The one I've seen and most recently actually is river otters.
Nice. That's a new one.
There are 2 river otters.
In your pond?
No, they're actually in Harness Creek.
Right near the boat dock.
That's
Right
awesome.
near the boat dock. We don't know how long they'll stay around because, in the summertime, the boat rentals and everything start up.
Yeah.
So we don't know how long they'll stay around, but I saw them about 2 weeks ago.
That's awesome.
And they were diving and
having a good time.
Having a good
doing
time.
River otter stuff.
And the first osprey of the year I saw yesterday.
Great, they're back. Good
So
to hear.
I actually do have, that reminded me. So a couple of months ago, the Rangers found a wood duck box that wasn't being used. They cleaned it out, put it down at Loden Pond behind the dog beach, and we do have a pair of wood ducks nesting.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah, we're going to have a family. That's pretty exciting.
All the more reason to visit Quiet Waters. One more time on the website for the Friends.
It's friendsofquietwaterspark.org.
Okay, and the county website for the Parks and Recreation, you can access at what?
Anne Arundel County Recreation and Parks,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you both for joining me today and for doing all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This is Donna Cole on the 1430 Connection. We'll see you next week.